Hello and welcome. My name is Melissa Robinson, but subscribers can call me Missy. So today we are in my studio with a mystery box. Here it is. It's a mystery. And we're gonna solve the mystery. It began on a cold, wintry day.
It was the kind of bitter, cold winter that gets you down and holds you there. I hadn't had a case in weeks. Blame it on winter fidelity. Nobody's stepping out in this cold. I was going over some old case files, taking care of some unfinished paperwork when there came a knock on the door.
It's open!
In walked a man. What a man. Chased by a cinnamon-scented burst of cold air, but his icy blue eyes were what cut me like a winter breeze never could. I knew he'd be nothing but trouble.
Well, what do you want?
I got a job for you.
You got a job for me, eh? You suspect the old lady of stepping out while you're hard at work. Typical women. Yeah, I see it all the time. You got the evidence in here?
No. My wife works and I take care of the household. And we're equal partners, do everything together. She'd no more cheat on me than she'd work long without ringing to tell me that she'd be late.
Oh, I see. Well, I do apologize, sir. Tell me, what's going on?
See, my wife bought me a sweater and she'd like me to wear it more often. But it's so itchy. And she's such a...
Say no more. She's a ball buster. Yeah, I see it all the time. Men coming in here, their wives, nag.
No, that's not what I was going to say at all. I was going to say she's a kind and wonderful individual. She was asking me, and I wanted to get her something in return. But she was asking me for a skirt that she'd been seeing in the Sears catalog. Well, I went into Sears and bought one and brought it back, and come to find that I bought her a bed skirt and she wanted, you know, a woman's skirt. You know, like you wear. So she just gets all
Hysterical.
No. And she explained that while it wasn't what she wanted, that it would look nice if it was fixed up into the kind of skirt that you could wear, and she could wear it.
Oh, no. I see what you brought me here. And I won't do it. You hear? I'm not a seamstress anymore. I gave up that life. I'm a detective now. See? A detective. Now, you get out of here. I'm not a seamstress anymore. You hear?
I'll pay you.
Right there, he had me.
Half now, half later.
I was in no position to be turning down cold, hard cash. Yes, indeed. I knew he was going to be trouble.
So you see, what's in this mystery box is a bed skirt that needs to be turned into a lady's skirt, and a sweater that's too itchy to be worn. Now, these are not problems for a detective, but they are problems that I can solve. So let's do it. Today I'm going to be working on this sweater. It is a 100% Shetland wool Aran style sweater, and I snatched it up because I was influenced by a YouTuber and a video in which Aran sweaters are discussed, and I saw this and I felt like it just looked like a nice sweater. I noticed that it was 100% wool, and so I had to snatch it up. It looks really bad on me, but it looks good on my husband and he likes it. The only issue is that it is a very scratchy sweater. So, solution, I had picked up this turtleneck from the Goodwill outlet a while back. It looks pretty shabby. It's kind of splotchy, not the best condition sweater, shirt, whatever. It's a nice soft shirt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sleeves off of this shirt and put them inside the sweater sleeves and attach them at the cuff and at the top of the sleeve. And then I'm also going to somehow line the neck, the collar of the sweater so that it is not itchy in the places where it's going to make contact with the skin. So let's do that.
In order to carry out my plan, I had to start by unpicking the seams connecting the sleeves to the shirt. The first sleeve, I unpicked all of the stitches by hand. I don't know what I did differently on the second sleeve, but I caught a thread that if I pulled, the whole thing just came off. With the sleeves off, I aligned them with the sweater sleeves and started with getting the cuffs in place. With the shirt sleeves off, I aligned them with the sweater sleeves and started getting the cuffs in place. I used a blue embroidery floss to add a little decorative flair, and these diagonal stitches help retain the natural stretch of the knit. I was more subtle with the stitches on the top end of the sleeve since the shirt sleeves did not seem to reach all the way up to the sweater seams. So I chose a light yellow color, more in line with the creamy wool, and I chose yarns to sew into that wouldn't be as visible from the front. Again, using stitches that were diagonal did help to retain the stretch, as you can see here, of the sweater and the knit. And here you can see that you cannot see the stitches that I used to hold the sleeves up in place. The next order of business was to cover the neckline. I chose to take the bottom hem off of the shirt to use in this part of the project. I used a ruler to remove a strip of the fabric and began by stitching the raw edge using my more subtle yellowish embroidery floss to attach it there. I didn't film it, but I then repeated with the blue floss what I had done at the cuff. As a final touch, I added a small touch of embellishment to the sleeve cuffs with more blue thread, stitching in a pattern that I created, which you can see on that piece of paper. And here is what that ended up looking like. It took me a little bit of time to remember how to do a French knot, but eventually I did remember.
Today, I am going to be working on turning this bed skirt into a human skirt, a circle skirt for a human, me, in fact. Behind me, you can see first and foremost my children's art. We can take a moment to appreciate their artistry. But also you can see a little bit of my math in trying to figure out whether if I made a circle skirt, I would be able to trim the entire thing with this beautiful crocheted lace trim. If my math is correct, then that means that I do have enough trim to put around the skirt. Did I do my math correctly? Well, I guess you'll just have to watch and find out.
It's supposed to be a pretty simple math equation to figure out how to make a circle skirt, but I had already done my math and I had a pattern I could use instead, so I found that and went ahead and pulled the trim off of the bulk of the bed skirt. I also could not find my seam ripper, so I just cut the seam off. I took a moment to figure out the best way to cut out. I forgot to mention earlier, but this bed skirt was a thrift find from another video, which I will link in the description. When one makes one's own clothing, one may take the opportunity to add pockets to every project. It was at this point I began to think about how this skirt was going to close and how to make it adjustable. And these coquelicot skirts came to mind. But I hadn't thought of that when I went to cut my fabric, so I would need to make something inspired by it, but that is absolutely experimental. A new day arrived with gold-lined clouds, and I was excited to see how my skirt closure innovation would work. I used my apron ties to make consistent sized strips of fabric for the waistband, and then sewed those together. I attached them to the skirt, but only up to where the pockets were. I then had something resembling a skirt I could try on my body. And try it I did. As you can see, I left a little tab on the back half of the waistband to be buttoned in the front. Then, as I was trying it on, I just pinned it into place where a button might go. Here, I was made aware that the skirt was a little loose and there were some other potential problems with the pockets, as you can see here. But as my brain tried to work out those issues, I decided to look for a pair of buttons, because that's fun. I then added some buttonholes and little loops for my tabs to go through. My brain decided that the solution to the loose waistband was to add some elastic to the back half of the waistband, so I did that.
Hello, I come to you today in my pajamas because this skirt kept me up last night. I wore it for a little family dance off that we had in my living room, just me and my kids. And this elastic is not sturdy enough to keep this skirt up and to keep it adjustable. And these pockets keep slip sliding around. Additionally, when I have it closed, this piece keeps coming forward and moving around. So there are issues with the skirt, and it kept me awake last night thinking about how I could fix those issues. I think what I'm going to do is sew up this side, because I really only need one side to be able to open up completely in order to get into the skirt. I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the elastic in there because it's already been cut down to size, and we're just going to keep it there. But I also have this white ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put the white ribbon in there, and I'm going to have it poke out here. So it's going to go across the back. It's going to poke out here, but on the inside of that. So there's a string of ribbon here, and then I'm going to have another piece of ribbon here. And that will tie those. It can adjust through here, right? So I can make it tighter or looser through the back if I need to. And then have a little hook attached here to keep the pocket, maybe I'll attach it, anyways, to keep the pocket from sliding back. So that's my plan. I mean, this whole thing was experimental. It was based on other ideas, but I just didn't want to execute those. And it turns out that, people know what they're doing, and they design things the way that they do for a reason. And yeah, I should have kept that in mind.
So I went forward with that plan. I fed the ribbon through the back half of the skirt, trying to keep it as intact as possible. I didn't want to have to redo the waistband. I did have to hand stitch around a little hole to keep it from fraying. so that I could get the ribbon out at the other end of the waistband where it comes out over the pocket. And if this all sounds overcomplicated, I'm sorry. Hopefully you'll be able to get it once I show you how it looks to put it on. Hopefully you find the sound of building blocks relaxing as I show you how the skirt comes on. First, I take that pocket and I snap it in place. Then I take my ribbon that's going through the back again on the side there, and I am able to adjust that, pull it through as far as I need to, and then just tie it into a little bow here over the pocket. And once I get that all tied up, I'm able to take my tab, feed it through the loop, and finally button it right into place so satisfyingly. Yeah, this closure is definitely over-engineered and overly complex, but it worked out. I was able to figure it out.
Now that we're at the outro, the jig is up. The sweater and the skirt in this box were finished the whole time. I fixed them up before I ever even filmed that intro. How do you like me now? I am super happy with how this skirt came out. Down to the critique time. This closure was highly experimental, and as such, it wasn't as good as the original design, but it works. And I think the skirt is just gorgeous. It has a 10 out of 10 twirlability and just the lace detail, and I can wear it underneath other dresses or over or whatever. Like there's so many possibilities for outfits. And then I think the sweater turned out really sweet. I love all the little details. It's just a little, I feel like it's little kisses from me that he gets to carry around when he wears the sweater. I don't think he sees it that way. And yeah, it's just a really nice sweater. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you liked anything about that video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like to see another video that I might make in the future, then subscribe and you will be able to see those future videos. And then I will be able to see you through the camera because I can see you. Anyways, I'll see you next time.